Well, welcome to the Weekend Review for Module 4 and 5. Okay, so what I would like to do is spend a couple of minutes going over the midterm. Now that the midterm is complete back from Module 3, I had a few folks who needed to finish it early this week because they had some issues and couldn't get into the midterm. But now that everybody's completed the midterm, I went back and I looked at some of those questions to make sure we didn't have any outlier questions, any questions that we'd have issues with. As I told many of you in our course conferences, all of these questions are new, and I could write a couple of bad ones. And sure enough, I had a couple of questions that approached 50%, where 50% of you have almost missed that question. I think we were at about 43%. That was close enough for me to know that that question was probably not well emphasized or miscommunicated in some fashion. So let's take a look at what those questions were that I'm giving back to you. But real quick before we do that, the overall percentage for the midterm was pretty good. We were at 83% for the class, which is very well considering that you didn't have any quizzes leading up to this. So kind of your first glance at multiple choice questions in this course. Now in the video for Module 3, I did give basically 10 questions of the midterm, gave you a sneak peek at those and the answers. So hopefully that got you familiar with what these kind of questions would look like. But 83, not bad at all. And with me taking 2 questions out, I'm basically going to lift everybody's grade up by, let's see, almost 4 percentage points. So I was talking to another student and he mentioned, was there going to be a curve? No, not really, but yes, this is almost in essence a curve. So I'm kind of lifting everybody's grade up. So if you got it right, you got these questions right, you're going to get the benefit of the lift. If you got them wrong, that's going to help you as well. So there will be a kind of a general lift for the entire class. The average with this lift will bring us to 87. Again, very, very good. The next midterm, now that you've seen these things, I'm just naturally you'll do better. So I would say the class average is probably going to be in the low 90s. So I have no worries there. I think we're really looking great. We're really on track. Remember this too, the way I have this course designed is less than 50% of the course's overall grade is rested in these midterms and the final. I think it's about 45% of the grade is in the midterm and the final. The rest comes from your learning activities and your topic essays. Make sure you're doing those. And you know that I don't grade severely on those. Few points here or there. So go for the low-hanging fruit, gather those points up, and you should be just fine. Even if you got a 87 on this particular midterm, you should be doing really, really well in the course, and especially your grades, I'm sure, will go up as you go through our next midterm and then the final after that. Okay, well, let's take a look at these questions real quick. I can't give you a number as far as which question goes to which exam. All of you had different questions ordered, so it's all randomized. So what's one for you is different for somebody else. So let's just take a look at the questions themselves, and you'll see which ones I am giving points back on. All right, so let's take a real quick look. All right, the first one is, which of the following is correct? It's the statement of changes in fund balance / net worth. You basically have 2 questions, 2 kind of yes, no's on here. Is it stated over a period of time, or is it a snapshot or a freeze, if you will, a freeze of figures at a certain date, or neither of the above? It is over a period of time, so that fund balance net worth is over a period of time. And I do, in all of your questions, in the feedback, I put where you can find that within the text. So on page 117, you can find the answer in there. It clearly references starting at the beginning of the year, ending at the end of the year, and it gives an exhibit in there, I believe at the bottom of the page in 117, where it shows balance of the first of the year and balance at the end of the year. So it does capture a year's worth of activity during that statement. So that is over a period of time. But again, my fault, wasn't emphasized. So we're tossing that one out. So that one's gone. The next question, so let's get rid of that. Okay. The next one was depreciation. And this is a fundamental concept. So I do want to just, I guess, take a second on this one, because as you enter the world of management, understanding depreciation is important. And you remember there's all kinds of methods for depreciating an item. Straight line is the easiest. There's something called double declining balance and other methods. But basically, you take an asset, it starts to get, you buy something, a piece of equipment or whatever, it starts to get used up over time. Think of your own car. They always say once you buy a new car off the lot, it depreciates immediately, which it does because you start using up that asset. But depreciation expense, your questions here, is it cash? Represents a cash expense, A. B, does not represent a cash expense, or C, I'm totally crazy, none of these make sense, or not applicable. Depreciation is not a cash expense. It's really an accounting mechanism. So think of it this way. Let's say if you buy that new car, you drive off the lot. When you drive off the lot, did you have to write another check or use your debit card or take money out of your pocket? Nobody writes checks anymore. I haven't written a check in probably 10 years. So, but do you have to take any money out of your wallet? No. It strictly is an accounting mechanism. The book value of your car is now less than what it was before you drove it off that dealer's lot. So not a cash expense. So know that. It's on page, again, another one on page, looks like on 117 there. So again, tossed out completely, and we're adding that back to everybody's score. Total class average at this point will be around 87%. So very good on the overall percent. I think our highest grade was 100. We had quite a few individuals that scored in the upper 90s. So great job for you on that. Maybe you could share your ideas with other students. We might do this in a future discussion on how you studied for that to get to those grades. So in general, though, over the years, I find there's some key methods, and most folks tend to, that do really, really well, when you ask them, they either have some sort of note method, they read the chapter, and then they either make flashcards or, like I've said before, outline or something like that. So do whatever works for you, and you should be just fine. Okay, so that concludes the midterm. Again, job well done. This week, we're finishing up our items here with our topic, essay, and our learning activity. Learning activity, very straightforward. A simple, short answer, one to two words. And some very, very simple math in there, so don't freak out about the math. If you've already done it already, it should be pretty easy. The next week, again, another topic, essay, learning activity. We are going to be going into the world of budgeting, so that's really, really important. The topic essay for Module 4, I wanted you to kind of think about the budgeting process. There is a couple of, it's talked to as we were going through in Module 4, a couple of items in the textbook talking about the budgeting process when you're using that comparative data and looking at trends and fixed versus static. So I wanted to get you thinking a little bit more about budgets as we kind of go into budgets for next week. So next week should be kind of one of your more important, one of these real world modules. Actually, all of them I think are pretty real world. And that's kind of what I do like about the textbook. It's pretty applicable to what's happening. It's not these high concept items. It's stuff that you really would need to know if you were managing a department. And you have to have some of that financial knowledge. So next week on Module 5 is budgeting. Looking at my notes here, that pretty much concludes the week in review for this week. Again, thank you for text messaging. That's working out very, very well. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And as always, thank you for watching.